It's time for tuck rows again, and in this first set, I actually forgot what I was talking about last week when I was thinking about a way to progress this exercise. Being it a body weight only thing, it's obviously not really easy to progress it in the more conventional ways of just adding weight. So what I thought about last week was to just slightly push my legs outwards, and this is something that I implemented from the second set. I can see that I was trying to keep my legs ever so slightly less tucked in, and this made for quite the big difference in the way that they felt. If in the first set I was able to keep my back straight and flat for the first 5 or 6, from the second already I could maybe do 3, and I don't really think that if my legs were closer to my chest, I would kind of experience this fall off in rep quality, even considering that subsequent sets are usually a bit harder because there is fatigue setting in, and this is quite a challenging exercise by itself. And then, as I was mentioning last week, I wanted to give a break to my piriformis and not really getting into any weird hip flexion position while doing the pike push-ups. And since I also feel like my shoulders could take it, I decided to get up a couple of levels and do these elevated handstand eccentrics. But I was definitely aware that this is quite the jump in terms of intensity from the pike push-up. So I started very easy. I did only 2 sets of 3 reps. And if the first set I wasn't really able to control my descent as slowly as I would have liked, the second set did a much better job. So I wasn't really building up that much fatigue. First of all, because it's an eccentric only movement, and then also because, as I mentioned, I wanted to start very easily. So this is something that I would like to progress, maybe 1 rep each week. And then if I see that I can do a few sets, maybe I'll add an extra set. And if I can do something like 3 sets of 5 eccentrics, I can start then thinking about the next step, which would be to implement also the concentric part of the movement. But I'm really excited to finally be getting back into this. This is something that I have been keeping on the back burner, or actually in the backpack in another room, for such a long time that, yeah, I'm really glad that I can do this again. And that concluded the first part of the session. That I moved over to this bench area where I was going to work the lower body and do also some wrist stuff. As it concerns the kettlebell swings, they kind of gave me a bit of an annoyance again in the back of the knee, exactly where the bicep femoris tendon attaches, and I am starting to consider whether I want to keep them in for the foreseeable future. I was kind of on the fence on those a couple of weeks ago, but then last week they felt okay, this week they're so I should probably take the more cautious approach, and because I'm not really focusing on pushing, jumping a lot right now, and more on strength building and possibly injury mitigation, maybe even cure, that would be ideal. So if I keep a movement that is very demanding in terms of explosiveness from a relative position of knee flexion where the tendon is engaged, and it's kind of a hit or miss in terms of the benefit that it provides against the potential risks, maybe it is indeed a good idea to just stop doing it for the time being and then re-implement it if I can fix this for good. Ciao.